You know, this one slipped my mind. I watched this when it first came out, the dub. I didn't bother watching this and stuff. I was not waiting episode by episode for this. And I was supposed to do a video about it a long time ago, but I didn't do it until a certain viewer brought it up, begging me to review this. And you're right, I should. I was supposed to and put this under bad anime. Every year, there's always one of those isekais that are just god awful, terrible, generic, no originality, no creative, just ticks you off. What a waste of animation and a waste of money that it is. The fact that Steve got season 2 among Wiseman's grandchild or the eighth son, are you kidding me? This one is when I got season 2. Not in Talent's Nana got season 2. And the sad part about that is that Wiseman grandchild only gets good because the villains are well written, or at least the only good thing about the series. Or Talent's Nana, things get really good after they leave the island, or even Killing Bites, where things get good when they switch up to a new main character who actually has an actual personality. It's this one right here with no redeeming qualities. And season 2 is airing right now. And you know by the title what I'm talking about. Seirei, Gensouki, Spirit Chronicles. Oh my goodness, this heap of trash right here, man. This was just, ooh boy. So it starts off with an orphan boy named Rio. His mom died recently, so he's been living life as a beggar until one day he rescues a princess. Until these buttholes who freaking capture him treat him like trash, even though he just did a good deed, and they're just doing terrible things to this kid. He just saved them. So like, okay, it's this kind of thing. Okay, I can get into this until I realize, wait a minute, this is an isekai. It's because of course it has to be an isekai. Turns out it's another dude he used to be in a previous life. A long time ago, when he was a child, he made vows to meet again with a childhood friend, which he always had a crush on. Meaning to the modern era, where he's an adult teenager on a bus, and they all get into a car accident on the bus. He's reincarnated into this world, where he's just this beggar kid whose life is on the slumps. Until he rescued this princess, he went through some harsh treatment, he continued going through harsh treatment. But he goes to his magic academy where he has to stick things out. Until a certain something happens with a jealous aristocrat, and then he has to flee the area. Of course he does, because he just becomes better than the rest. Because that's just how it is. It's funny how anime always display nobles, people who are training as weaklings, but throughout history, most of these people are on the battlefield actually winning and losing wars and sacrificing stuff. They just think they just don't know really how to fight, but in reality, they do know how to fight. It's just funny how in Japanese anime, they always just show these noble children of those who don't know how to fight. It's hilarious. Well, anyways, he goes off, and it turns out he is not the only one who's been isekai'd. Pretty much, some people on that bus have been isekai, living their normal lives. Some lives not so well. For instance, this little girl who had a big sister, she died in the accident as well, but she was being trained as a slave to be an assassin who went after Rio. Rio stopped her, freed her, and now, he's her big brother, because of course he is and stuff. And this thing has a pattern that I caught on to, a very nerve-wracking pattern. Is he goes to a village or a town or whatever, and every time he says he has to lay low so no one know who he is, so he won't get captured. So, however, the same thing happens in every town. There is this girl, a damsel in distress, who's being bullied by some muscular men. He shows up, beats them up, girl's impressed. She takes them to her home area, where he shows how amazing he is. Because even though he's just a high schooler, he knows how to build bathhouses. He knows how to do all these other Japanese inventions where the average person doesn't even know how things work. Most people, it's a cliche I cannot stand most isekais. We have an average Joe who goes to another world, and somehow he knows how to create stuff in his world. It's just scratch of his head, knows how to do everything, and it's so stupid. And you have two kind of guys in the show. Well, three. You have the old man who's nice, humble, and grizzled. Then you have the guy who's not a bad guy, but he is always jealous of Rio, the main character, all the time because he takes all the girls. Then you have the guys who are total scumbags. Those are the only three kind of men you have in this kind of show. The rest are women, and all the women are nice, lovely. They can do no wrong. If they are doing wrong, it's because of some guy or something. So, this dude who made a promise to his childhood friend a long time ago, and he's in a new world, can't some reason move on from his childhood friend, even though he's a new freaking world. So he has all these girls in each village or town he goes to. They fall in love with him. They fall in love. They fall head over heels for this guy, and then but he says, "I must resist my childhood friend, who I'll never meet again, is still in my head." As a kid, man, I don't remember my first crush when I was a kid, and this dude is just using the excuse of him being afraid of commitment. That's all it is. It's so stupid. So, anyways, like I said, he goes to every town. He does the same thing over again. It turns out, when he reaches to a certain village, it turns out he is special. Turns out when his mom died, she actually married a royal guy where she was at. Well, at least had an affair with him or something, and which was not allowed, so they ran away. But eventually, she got killed. So, this dude's also royalty. So, this dude was special from the start. Yeah, he's royalty, prince. I guess you call him a fallen prince. You can say, those who got into royalty, but not the legal way, but through affairs and scandals, mistresses and stuff like that. So that's why he's royalty, in a way. You could say the battle of the bastards. You could call it. He's a bastard. But anyway, this is just the same thing. He gets powerful, solves every case, no matter what happens. Everything is easy for him. Same easy cliche. But the thing I got tired of was the same pattern that kept happening for everywhere he went. And guess what? The girl who showed him grace at the academy, she's marrying a selfish noble guy. Of course she is. That's just how it is in these shows. And it turns out she doesn't want to marry him because of this. So he comes to her rescue. Turns out he does love her. Wow, this boy's finally able to move on? My goodness, he's finally able to move on. But at the very end of the episode, you see his childhood friend somehow there, looking like she is, not reincarnated, but looks like she was just transported there. Just to give you the F you to you, man. Just give it to you full on screen. Like, how? Why? This is so stupid. You brought back some very painful memories, my dear viewer, that wanted me to talk about this. Very painful memories. I had this far in the back end of my mind where I forgot about it, but now it's here, and it's because of you. And apparently season 2 is out right now. I'm not watching it. Season 1 was enough for me to say no, and no all the way. This is the giant's problem when it comes to anime in Japan. It's like, where one thing I do agree with Digibro on is that they do invest too much in projects that shouldn't be invested into. I agree on it where there's something that is done, but again, some people may like that. But I believe there's not enough people liking it. It shouldn't be animated compared to things that people are invested in as well. But anyways, this was just god awful. I didn't care about, the guy can do no wrong. He has no flaws. The only flaw he has is now justified because now the childhood friend is there for some reason. Like, imagine you being a kid and you being like, most kids don't even remember who they were hanging out with in pre-K, heck, the 3rd grade, unless you grew up with those people. He didn't grow up with this girl. They knew each other as kids, and then they split. And the fact that they can't move on. You know what would have been funny? If she doesn't remember who he is and stuff, because it means she moved on in her life like an average person is supposed to do. Oh my god, this is a headache. And this guy's season 2. You could, I don't even care for No Game of Life like that, but you guys should at least give that season 2. But no, you gotta give this. I know it's different studios, I know. But still. something. Anything could have gotten season 2, but this, man, this didn't need no season 2. But here we are. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Seirei, Spirit Chronicles. Terrible anime. Nothing special about it. Nothing interesting. Nothing that piques my interest whatsoever. It's generic, by the books, quick money grab anime. That's all it is, man. I'm just mad I still got season 2. But anyways, man, that's all I got for this. I couldn't handle it, man. You happy now? The person I'm talking to through the screen, are you happy I talked about this? This was just god awful. I couldn't stand this main character, and I couldn't stand all the other generic characters. There's not one character in the show I liked. At least in Wise Man's Grandson, at least I liked the villains, the people who were trying to find some sort of purpose after becoming monsters at the end of the series. They were good. Heck, in Eighth Son, the dude that kept spinning the lance turned out being the most interesting character in the entire show, and they barely showed him. So, Taos Nana is at least he knows to be a good part 2, and I think the manga's on a hiatus right now, but so far as I'm reading it, it's really good. Even Killing Bites is pretty interesting right now, even though with a very terrible part 1. But this, I would love to have Tokyo ESP have a season 2. It would have been nice to have a season 2 of Tokyo ESP, but we don't get it. We get this generic slop. I hope you're happy, people. Oh man, I need to watch something good after remembering this. But anyways, this definitely goes under the record of bad anime. Deserves bad anime. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This is the Madcrownxox on anime. Signing out.